Everyone, welcome to Question and Answer Friday. Welcome to the replay viewers. Can't talk this morning. I'm always grateful for you guys. I see you guys first. Hey, Clarissa. See your hearts first. We did break 100,000 the other day. That was kind of cool. Hey, Texas Big Daddy, welcome. I'm glad to see you guys popping on. I am so sorry about yesterday. That was just totally a scheduling oversight on my part. Wanted to get this tooth taken care of. It was had a root canal yesterday. That was not necessarily fun. Especially since it was a redo. But hey, I'm glad to have it done and be on my way to out of pain. Hey, Rosemary, welcome. Okay. There we go. It's better than looking at the containers. So welcome. Yeah, it's not totally done. He packed some stuff in there, and that's got to sit for it's like calcium, and he said basically baking soda. It's got to sit for 3 weeks. And then I go in and he'll clean all that out and fill it. So hopefully that will be it. There was a section of the root that he couldn't get to, and we're hoping that that doesn't cause problems down the road. So yes, things are good, feeling much better, and on the mend. That's always a good place to be. So welcome everyone. Those that don't know me, my name is Dawn. I'm a personal wellness coach with Herbalife International. Yeah, it's not fun. Especially this was a redo, so the same tooth. I have, since I took on my health and nutrition and cleaned up my diet, blending in the Herbalife nutrition with good whole real foods, I have lost 91 pounds, over 220 inches of fat that I'm not carrying around. You guys, that's over 18 feet of fat if you were just to put it all laid out. And that has impacted not only how I feel about myself, but how I feel and the energy level I have. I can be active with my 2 teenage boys on a level that I couldn't before. So that's my story, and then I'm taking what I have learned on my journey and sharing it with other people and impacting their journeys, helping people on that same journey, wherever they are in the journey. That's what these scopes are about. I also work with people one-on-one to impact their health and wellness, whether they're local, or I also work with people that aren't local. So if you or someone you know is interested in having some coaching and support, some one-on-one support for their wellness goals, I'm here for that. They can email me. My email is in my bio. They can also, I have a challenge going on. We kicked it off this Tuesday, but you can join at any time. Every Tuesday night at 6:30 Mountain Time, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. We have nutrition classes and a variety of things going there to help support, especially through the holidays. So people can join me, follow, so they see when that pops up, and join in on those conversations as well. So today's topic. Yesterday we were supposed to talk about containers. And I don't have a lot about containers, so it was going to be a short scope anyway. So I'll hit that quick, and then any questions you guys have, whether it's from this week's scopes about cleaning out your pantry and what to fill it with, or anything else, questions that I can't answer now, I will put into a future scope, like for next week. I have a couple of next weeks lined up already, or even things that are just more of a conversation than just a yes/no quick question. I can also roll those into full scopes next week. So containers, okay. My preference, if I can go glass, that is my first choice to store anything in. I have plastic containers. I don't mind using them as mixing bowls, but if it's going to be in there for any period of time, I prefer glass. Doesn't always happen, but that's my first preference. I was showing you guys when we first came on, so you can see them again. These are some of my favorite containers right there. Both styles are Pyrex. You know, I have this one just has a snap-on lid. These actually clamp down, which is kind of nice, and has like a little gasket in there, which is really good for transport. The circle ones, I have ones with the clasp-on lid too. They're just have stuff in them in the fridge. But I love these because the glass can go in the oven, it can go in the fridge, it can go in the freezer, and I don't have to worry about anything leaching out of them unless they don't get clean. Which they're easy to clean, but my teenage boys do the dishes, so sometimes they get, excuse me, they'll get in a hurry. And I can't say that I've always been perfect at that either. So that's my first preference. Again, then I do have the plastic containers. Yeah, glass is my favorite thing, and that's what I've been asking for Christmas every year. I'm trying to build that up. But it does have some limitations. For example, it's breakable. Or if you're buying in bulk, you may not have glass containers that may not be feasible to have it all stored in glass containers. There's a lot of food storage companies out there that sell dried things in number 10 cans. I like that for dried. Another thing that we use a lot of are food grade 5-10 pound buckets, and you can even get screw-on lids for those. Those are really good too, especially for like grains and dry things. Liquid things, I try to stick to my glass, but I don't have a lot. You know, I do the quart jars, things like that. Even for my kombucha, I was buying kombucha so that I would have the glass bottles, and I had enough for my first batch. I bottled them, started a second batch, and that batch was ready to bottle about the time the bottled batch was ready to drink. And I didn't have enough. So I have a bunch of in quart containers, quart glass jars and different things. Yeah, for a lot of the staples, that's what we have our beans in. That's what we have our rolled oats in. Some of the other grains my husband likes to get, he has in those. Anything we're buying in bulk, which is pretty much dried stuff. So that's what I have on storage. In the fridge, I like to use these. My husband likes to just put the pot in there. That has its own downfalls, like now the pot isn't available for use, but also pots tend to not be clear. The nice thing, you know, that's pretty much a single serving, but I can put stuff in this and I can see if there's only one serving left of it, or I can see if there's a bunch. So we tend to cook in batches rather than, you know, cooking one meal every day, or, you know, just enough for that meal. We cook a lot, and then we put it in the fridge and we'll eat it for a couple days. Fortunately, my family does leftovers. In this, I can see if those leftovers are almost gone or if nobody's eating them. Where with the pot, my husband thinks there's pots of food in the fridge, and there's nothing in those pots. Because everybody takes all but the last bite, and then they're like, oh, I don't want to take the last bite. And then nobody eats it because there's not enough for anything. And it's in this closed metal container. We think it's full. So a couple places I like to shop for things like containers. MightyNest.com I really like because they give back to schools. So like when you register, and then it goes bad. If you register with MightyNest.com, it's Mighty, M-I-G-H-T-Y, Nest, N-E-S-T, one word, .com. You can register with a school. So whatever school your kids go to, if their school isn't in there, you can add it to the list. You just have to get some information then so that they're able to do it. and then you can advertise it out. They do this great fundraiser that's all the time. If people are registered to your school and they buy anything from Mighty Nest, a percentage goes back to the school. And sometimes they do some other big things, but I really like that they give back to the schools. The other one that I really like is the Container Store. And there are physical locations, but there is also online. And they give back a lot too. They do a lot of different programs that they have going on. And it just kind of depends on what's going on in the world, what they're doing. But you can go into one of their stores, and I think online you can register to have someone help you the same way. And you can say, this is what my needs are, and they will design a program for you of containers. And you can say, I want glass containers. I just need to organize my fridge. I need to store my bulk items. I need to whatever. I need to organize my closet. This is what I got. Whatever your organizational needs are, they will design a container program for you that will be efficient, and then it's just a matter of buying the stuff. So that's kind of cool. Another thing, I was looking because produce will last longer if it's stored correctly. And so I was looking for, ideas on that. And there really is a lot. I don't want to sit here and bore you, so I will just give you a few things. But you can go on and research, and there's like lists. But for the first thing, for the most part, with your produce, you do not want to wash it before you store it. When you get it home from the store, do not wash it until right before you're going to eat it. Because as soon as water touches it, it starts going bad. So it's going to start going bad faster if you wash it first. If you're going to be keeping it at room temperature, like fruits and vegetables that you might just be storing on the counter that aren't going in the refrigerator, those you want to keep them loose. So, if you went and bought some potatoes at the store, pull them out of the bag. I wouldn't buy potatoes. Sweet potatoes. If you're going to go buy some sweet potatoes at the store, you put them in your little plastic bag, bring them home, take them out of the plastic bag, and store them in a loose container. That way the air can circulate around them. In the fridge, most foods in the fridge, like if they come in clamshells or different things like that, typically they're in the perfect container for storage because they don't want it rotting in the store. So keep it in that container. What gets too ripe too soon? If you wash it first, or if you're keeping it on the counter. And that really depends on the food. Mushrooms are one exception that you want to take them out and store them loosely. And I would even put, fruits on the counter do ripen pretty fast, especially in the summer. This time of year, not so much when it's a little cooler. But there's a lot of things that we keep in the fridge. But there's some things like tomatoes. Tomatoes, if you put them in the fridge, they start losing their flavor a lot faster than if you keep them on the counter. So that's not necessarily something you want to buy in bulk. Fresh stuff, you want to buy it as you're going to use it or within a couple days of when you're going to use it. Lettuce, I have found, a lot of times I'll buy the lettuce that's just pre-made. It's ready. I can just grab it and put it in my salad bowl. Some people rinse that. Some people don't. I typically don't. I don't know whether I should or not. It's supposed to be already rinsed. But I will, when I get it home, I will put a paper towel in the clamshell. And every time I get some lettuce out of it, if that paper towel is damp, I will replace it with a dry one. Because if lettuce gets wet, it starts wilting a lot faster and going slimy and gross. So I try to keep it dry. That paper towel just kind of acts as a wick and wicks the moisture out. I also, as it gets down, the top might start getting condensation on it. That paper towel protects the lettuce from any condensation that drips. And when I open it up, I will wipe that off and put a fresh paper towel in there, just to help. It really does help keep it fresh longer. I mean, you still can't leave it for like 2 weeks, but I have had it last for over a week, which is really good, considering I'm usually the only one eating it. Asparagus, I love asparagus. If you buy asparagus, when you bring it home, cut the tips off, or not the tips, the end, the cut end. So cut that fresh and wrap it in a damp paper towel, and that one put in a plastic bag. Or you could probably put it in a glass container, because you just want to keep it a little bit moist. Where the lettuce, you want to keep it drier. Asparagus, you want to keep moister. Beets, this is something I learned. Cut the tops off, or at least break off the stems and the leaves, and store those separately. And then your leaves will last for like 3 days if you're going to cook up your beet leaves. I have not tried those yet. They're supposed to be amazing, full of nutrition. It's not something I have tried yet. Ours tended to just go bad in the fridge, so I'd feed them to the chickens before they got bad. Let's see if I can fix this. There. Oh. Okay. Any berries, same thing. If you can keep them dry, the better. So add paper towels. Even spread them out. If you can put them in another container and spread them out, that's good. But really the clamshells give them just the right amount of air circulation. And herbs. This was another one I learned, that if it's a woody herb, you can just store it however. But or in the containers it comes in. If it's a leafy herb, though, a couple of the sites that I looked at said to wrap them in a damp paper towel and then store them in a closed container like a plastic bag and keep them a little damper. You know, I'm not talking dripping wet. I'm talking a damp paper towel. Also, anything that has roots still on it, you can wrap the roots in a damp paper towel, and that's going to help keep that good longer. And then watch the food. I mean, if like the berries, if some of the berries are going bad, pull those berries out before they start impacting the rest of them. Hello, welcome. So really, those are my tips for containers. There's not a lot. It really is something that has to be personalized, and you have to decide what your needs are. That's your first step. What your needs are. If you can go as much glass as you can, if it's going to be in it for any period of time, that's ideal. And then beyond that, you just have to see what your needs are and what's going to work for you. That's the best thing. And I think the best for storing produce is look up the produce that you use and that you buy and see what's best for that. I know, like avocados, I was seeing it said to leave them on the counter because they ripen faster. Well, lately, I don't know what it is, but at the store, my avocados, I've been able to get good ripe ones. So I don't want them on the counter going soft faster. You know, maybe the ones I'm eating that day, but if I'm not going to eat them for a couple days. Hey, Leslie, welcome. Thanks for sharing. We've pretty much finished with the container stuff from yesterday that we were supposed to do, and I apologized for. But my tooth is getting much better. And now just a question and answer chit chat. I am much better than I was. Thanks for asking. They redid the root canal, and it's a little sore. He said, you know, it's starting to feel better, but we just went in there and stirred the pot. So now it's got to get better again. But I don't have to, I'm not doing any painkillers or, hello, Muggy Moo. Is this the first time you've actually been on mine, Muggy? I've seen you on Leslie's and on Christine's and on Fermented Foodie. But I don't know if I've seen you on mine before. From Australia, right? That's like on my bucket list of a place to go visit. Walker Farm, welcome. Yay, well, welcome. Glad to have you. We've really, oh yeah, it is so much better. I mean, it's a little sore, but it is so much better. I can function now. Yesterday I had a headache, but that's gone. I think it was my mouth being open for so long. And then I didn't get a break. Yep, I know. Pain is not fun. It's not. But I can get back to life. Okay, so what questions do you guys have? I mean, we've been, yeah, not at all. Do you guys have any questions about cleaning out your pantry, about specific foods, whether you want to keep them in or throw them away? I mean, that is a personal choice, but I can give you my thoughts on things. You know, there's a couple things like the high fructose corn syrup. That is just like not in my diet at all. That's one of the reasons that we eliminated. I know, I am way excited because if that turns out good, and you have to be honest and tell me, because if it turns out good, I'm making that for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. Because pumpkin cheesecake is one of my mom's favorite things, and if I could make a sugar-free, that's okay. I'm good. I'm okay with dairy every once in a while. Dairy is on the low end of the moderation, but it's not a big, it's not an eliminated thing. It's just not a frequent thing. And dairy's way better than sugar. It's cottage cheese. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah. If I could make if I could make pumpkin cheesecake that my mom likes and it's sugar-free, that is going to be a huge score. Huge. You know, last time I was at home, my mom sat there trying to get me to tell my dad that it was okay if he had sugar. I'm like, nope, think not. If he's decided to take sugar out of his diet, I am going to support him on that. You know, I think my stepdad is my most supportive on the clean eating. But then, that said, he will eat most stuff. Not much of a baker. Yeah, my husband's more of the baker here. I enjoy baking. I just don't do it. I like cooking better because it's harder to mess it up. If you get the flavors combinations good, it's good. You know, I grew up with my mom cooks by looking she does do recipes, but she would look in her cupboard and say, oh, this sounds good, this sounds good, this would be good in there, this would be good in there. Problem with that is it would be amazing. We'd say, Mom, make this again. And she's like, I don't know how I made it. So that's kind of how I learned growing up watching her cook. She wouldn't let me in the kitchen. And I think she realized her mistake in that, but she just enjoys cooking. And so I've had many of flops as I learned to cook the same way. And my husband cooks the same way. So it works. Okay, so what questions do you guys have? 2 scopes today. Woo! So the first one's going to be at noon. What time's the second one going to be? I probably still won't be where I have Wi-Fi. Do you know about what time that one will probably be? But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited if you guys like fermented foods. Go to Kitchens is doing fermented foods next week. You have an appointment at 2:30. Okay. So hopefully before that or after. I'm hoping after, personally. Just because my time. Hopefully before that. Yeah, that would make sense. So I may have to get them both on the replay. Welcome, Snow. I'm excited for next week's. I want to see what you learn about kombucha because my kombucha tastes pretty good, but we'll have to see that. You'll make it after that just for me. Oh, don't. You know, my day is kind of crazy today, so I can't even say when I would be available. I have appointments and different things, and going and working on these Christmas presents. Because I'm kind of to a point where I need help with the next step. Well, yeah, we can try. We can try. My club closes at 2:30. So when your appointment is. So yeah. fun stuff, fun day. I love Fridays. They get busy. In fact, from your last night's scope, hey Snow, welcome. Where are you from? Yep, Monday through Friday, I run the club from 10:30 to 2:30 and have people come in, various things. Sometimes they just come hang out. Illinois, yay, I've been to Illinois a couple times. My grandparents used to live there, and my brother lives there. Where in Illinois are you? Well, my sort of brother. Yeah, it's fun. On Tuesdays, we have a weigh-in challenge, so those that want to come in and weigh and measure, and, you know, all they have to do is pay their club membership. West of Chicago? I think, okay. I have a friend that lives in, I can never pronounce it, Shana? And my brother's actually from Gilbert, but I think he's staying there in Shana. Or at least that's where he's working out of. He kind of travels with his work. And I've been to Chicago a few times. My grandparents used to live in Rockford, so I spent a couple summers there. In fact, my problems actually began in Rockford. Both are close to you. Yeah, my weight problems began in Rockford, staying with my grandparents. I call it the summer of ice cream and donuts, because my grandma had worked in a bakery for a while, and she worked at an ice cream shop for a while. So we had donuts for breakfast every morning, and we had ice cream at least once a day. I left skinny, came back. My mom didn't recognize me getting off the plane. I'll just put it that way. Yeah, well, as a kid, it was. You know, I think that was like second, third grade, right in there. I don't know. It kind of blurs year-wise when it could have been. But yeah, it did taste good. I have good memories of that summer. But it has taken me many years to get rid of all of that ice cream and donuts and make it stay gone. That's the cool thing, since I've eliminated those things predominantly from my diet. They're like a once or twice a year. I keep the weight off. What kind of food intolerances? I could address that in a scope. I need to grab my pen back. Let's see if this, there. Holy cow. That's a lot of weight in a year of marriage. So he had an extremely high metabolism. My stepdad was like that. He could eat anything and everything, and he did, trying to put on weight. But now he's a little bit older, and it caught up to him. He says, even when he needed to lose weight and came to me, he says, okay, I'm ready to do what you do. Oh, he was fat too. Well, that's a different story. Yeah. See, my dad and my mom are both about